That was in 2009 when the Badgers pulled off the upset as a 12 beating a 5, which you see practically every year in the NCAA tournament. And a 12 seed basically means you were on the bubble. You're one of the last few teams to get an at-large spot in the NCAA tournament. So let's turn our attention there. How does the committee do that? For example, by Saturday evening, what's going on with the committee?
Well, the very bucket of teams that we talked about starting Thursday morning, once they have done the initial ballot, now has been whittled down to the remainder of teams that the committee believes deserve consideration. At a certain point in time, normally Saturday evening, could be late Saturday evening, there will be 6, 10, 12 teams perhaps left in that bucket. And what the committee will do after debating and discussing each and every team, including head-to-head comparisons, common opponents, injuries, and everything else that we've discussed already, they will take a final vote and they will rank those teams from 1 to however many teams there are. What that does is that allows for a sequence to be set up for Sunday, because the number of openings that may be available in the at-large field really depends on what happens as conference tournaments complete.
And the guys were saying earlier, they try their best. This committee of 10, they're human beings. When you were in charge, you would literally get calls in the middle of the night on Saturday into Sunday morning?
Well, the committee just takes this personally. They know that they have an incredible obligation. They understand that the world will be looking in just a matter of hours and critiquing their work, and not everybody is always happy. So there will be a lot of debate. So as things go forward and as they look at the total field, there will probably be a team or two that will nag at them, and every once in a while a committee member will bring it up. And in the past years, that had trailed into Sunday. And so a few years ago, the committee decided that it was going to do everything possible to have the field defined as well as the final sequence by Saturday night, so that Sunday they could really focus on scrubbing, the final scrubbing of the seed list, and get into bracketing.
And yet, if the committee members are freaking out so much that they're calling you at midnight, that's on Saturday. What's the best way to describe what Sunday is like?
I believe I have referred to this in the past as karmically psychotic, and that may be an understatement. I was fortunate enough to be part of the process for 12 years. I never once had to have a wake-up call or an alarm for Selection Sunday. The reality is, you know what's going on. Everybody's up early. You have to make sure that everything's in order. You understand the order of the business, finishing the seed list based on the Saturday details, what may have happened on the West Coast games late Saturday night, and you have to be ready to make sure that you're prepared for however many brackets may come forward Sunday afternoon.
So it's a breeze, in other words.
Oh, right, it's easy. Long naps. That's right, sure.
Something that's a fairly new part of this process is the concept of the first 4 games. Explain exactly how you become a member of the first 4.
Right, and this is when the field went from 64 to 65 and then ultimately to 68. The reality is that there are 2 games played in Dayton, Tuesday night and Wednesday night. They are the so-called first 4. They are the last 4 teams by seed, so essentially 65 through 68 in the field, as well as the last 4 at-larges into the field. They will compete against each other within their respective groups to advance against the next seed in the second round.
So they'll be playing an extra game, which is some added incentive that they don't really want to play in that game.